Hey, how are you?
Hey, I'm great. How are you doing?
So I am doing good, thank you. I'm in the warm Turkey, ready to go swim right after this. What about you? Where are you?
Israel, hot in here as well. We are in the border of Tel Aviv, Ramat Gan. A pretty hot day today, but we are managing it.
Well, that's pretty cool. So I called you today to ask you a little bit about the service, the business that you run, because I was looking at it and I had a few questions. So do you mind if I ask you those right away?
So, go away.
So what I'll do is I'll share my screen and I'll just, okay, So your company is SellerAppeal, right? SellerAppeal.com.
Mhm.
All right. So when I was looking at it, it seemed to me that you kind of help with suspensions of all kinds. Is that what you do? That's
Yes,
your
this is good. I own a company that's called SellerAppeal. We provide appeal services for suspended sellers who ever got their listing or account suspended for almost any type of violation, if that would be policy issue, Amazon guidelines, regulation, FDA, DEA, EPA, if that would be some kind of flow problem, mostly patents. We investigate the case and write down the appeal or the legal opinion for you.
okay? So if I get suspended on, let's say, ASIN level and something happens, and I guess most sellers first try to do their own unsuspension, right? And I
Mhm.
fail at it. And then they send me an email like, this is the last time you should email about it. Can you help with like those those type of
Yes,
cases?
yes, definitely. First, we do suggest trying by yourself. We do suggest it because some cases are easier and can be managed alone. For example, used item solus new, if you can see down in the right corner of the screen, the first one, used item solus new, that's a more easy suspension that if you will follow Amazon guidelines on how to write an appeal, sometimes you can manage it alone, and that's fine, absolutely. We mostly deal with the more complicated cases, for example, the legal issues. You can't fix them without a lawyer. The regulation issues, if you aren't aware of the exact regulation regarding the product, which we probably aren't, Amazon won't reinstate us. Or if you have severe policy violations, that requires a lot of creativity and a professional appeal. Even if they tell you that we may not respond to further messages and we will ignore you, in other words, we can always try and reappeal. It will be harder, success rates may be a little bit lower, but we can deal with everything.
Okay. So in general, when I met you at Sellerfest Israel conference and I talked to you a little bit at the booth that you had there, you mentioned something that you are very different from those other companies that work with suspensions when they approach everything from the lawyer's point of view. Like
Mhm.
how you are different again?
Exactly. So while most of the professional companies, there are a lot of companies in this field that provide appeal services. I think many of them providing copy-paste templates that are useless and aren't relevant to the situation of the customer. We aren't such, and there are a lot of others who are professional and good. Most of the other professional companies are law firms, meaning they approach your issue from the legal side of the problem. And we come and say something different. We say that Amazon, as a big company, as a monster, as a monopoly, they have their own set of rules. They are the ones who decide rules, who makes everything up. And so we stay on the policy issue. For example, if you have a copyright violation, the law clearly mentions what will and what will not be an infringement. And we don't even mention this. We don't care what the law says because Amazon doesn't care. With all due respect, they don't care. And it's hard for me to say it, but currently that's how they are working, and they just doesn't look at the law and look at their own set of policies, and so this is what we do. Altogether, design patents, for example, the first one on the legal department, design patents, utility patents, they do require legal involvement, and we got our lawyers and our own law firm who professionalize in Amazon, and so if a law issue is required, we will deal with it with the law, but we try and mitigate and shift all issues from the law to policy issues, because that's easier to deal with and that get you reinstated faster.
Very interesting. So you deal just on like the policy basis and try to look into the rules of terms of service of Amazon, right? And the policies first before you do any legal action?
Their departments, the people who is checking the appeal, they don't have any legal experience. They are not lawyers. They don't know the rules, the law. They don't know anything. They know their own policies. Now Amazon are starting to teach the people who are reviewing the appeals. They are starting to teach them about the laws, but that can take even 2 years. So, for example, I send you as a customer get suspended for copyright issue, and you send a letter, an appeal to notice dispute department. And you mentioned what the law says. You mentioned that you don't infringe on it, but the representative who is working on your case, who is reviewing the appeal, cannot verify that this is true. Maybe you made something up. Maybe there is a law infringement and it just don't know how to verify it because it isn't capable of doing it. So we shift everything and we stay in their, and the representative will stay in their comfort zones, and we focus on their policy and guidelines, and so it makes it much easier for them to review the appeal and reinstate and accept the cases.
Okay, that's very interesting. So let me just, okay, so when I was looking you up, you know, I went to Facebook. I'll show you how I looked you up. SellerAppeal. So I entered it here, and then I chose that I want to see in my groups who talked about you, and sort of tried to check if you have any social proof that I could rely on. So there was one guy says, Mr. Shamush is your man. I use him many times. Trust me, he gets the job done. This is cool. And then a different group, the same guy posted about it.
Most of the people tagged by my name, and you will see more recommendations from there.
Yeah, great work from SellerAppeal team getting our suspended ASIN back. And then just wanted to give you guys a tip or something. Oh, thank you for reinstating my account. You seem like a famous guy on that. So it looks like you guys are doing a good job.
Yeah. And we also have bad experience, as always, as everybody, because there isn't a 100% success.
This is great. You know, when I met you again at the conference, you had those slides as a presentation, which was very good practice for sellers, I guess, to learn when your account could be suspended, in what cases. Would you mind sharing the slides with us? And I will play that game, maybe try and guess what is wrong with the listings.
So actually what we come and say is that there are a lot of suspensions which can be prevented. In your detail page, for example, Amazon has strict rules and guidelines for what is and what isn't allowed. Many of you may know Amazon published a notice that in the last few days, I think July 22, yesterday, from this recording, they will start to enforce title issues. So if your title doesn't stand within the guidelines, you won't be indexed, or your title will be removed, or in extreme cases, you will be suspended. And this suspension is called detail page needing correction. And there are many more similar issues. If your main image doesn't stand within the guidelines, if in your bullet points you don't write correct things that you should, you will be suspended from it. And we actually want to prevent it because we can, and that's pretty easy. So indeed, in the conference we went together, we made a slide to show big sellers, high volume sellers, which we say will be suspended soon because they have infringements in their detail pages, and we can prevent it, and why shouldn't we? So let's see the screen over here.
Yeah.
Let's put it on the big screen.
So whoever is watching, let's play this like a game. Let's try and guess what's wrong with the listing. Oh, but I will need a little bit of guidance. Wait, so now, okay, let's see. Okay, so there's the package, okay. Kinetic sand, beach sand, ages 3 and up. Maybe to do something with the age. There you go. It says non-toxic. So what's the reason why I can't make that claim?
So in here it says it in Hebrew, but we can understand from it. Actually, to say non-toxic, that your product is non-toxic, of course it's a kinetic sand. People who buy it want to know that it is safe to use, it is non-toxic. The FDA clearly mentions that if you write marketing claims, you must have appropriate approvals from them. If you say you are non-toxic, you got to show the document that proves that you are not toxic. And those suspensions can be easily prevented. And who knows all the recent pesticide issue, that's the same thing. It wasn't only the pesticide product, but pesticide claims could be suspended, could be prevented.
Okay, so I shouldn't claim anything like that.
Over you.
Okay.
You have 20 seconds before it moves on.
Oh, I can't be so fast. Wait, 2 tuners and 5 tuners, and then over the air. Oh, I'm lost a little bit. So maybe 75 hours? No. The image? No, the image is not the product image. It's some kind of USA Today. So it should be the product image, right?
Right, correct. The main image, as you can see in English, should have a pure white background. If they will be suspended, I think not. It's an Amazon listing with a lot of reviews. They probably won't be suspended because it's Amazon, but though they are infringing on their own guidelines. So we will make sure that our main images are with pure white backgrounds, as you can see in the second image.
That's right.
So worth knowing, those things can be easily prevented. That's an interesting one. 5,000 reviews can be prevented. 20 seconds.
20 seconds. Digital alarm clock with large display. Okay. 1.4 inches display. LED display. Easy to use. Snooze for 9-volt battery not included. Maybe something about that then? Something about battery not included. Refer to the PDF attached. Oh, we can't probably do that. The PDF attached.
We can, and Amazon likes it. Amazon likes it when you attach documents and extra technical specification. They even promote you even higher. But what it seems as mark the inches and
you have to say inches.
You gotta spell it out. You gotta spell it out. You can't write those quotes as mark for inches, and you gotta mention it as he did in his bullet points. In his bullet points, it was correct, and he wrote 1.4 inch. Should be in the title as well. And when Amazon will decide to enforce it, they will suspend them. And we already saw high volume sellers that got suspended because of very small issues like this. it's a very small issue and can make a lot of damage for such a seller. Altogether, for small sellers, it
That's
can
right. I
destroy
can lose
people's
a lot of
business.
sales. Yeah, you can lose a lot of business, like you say. That's right. Just for a week suspended and I wouldn't notice or something. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's correct. That's an easy one.
Easy one. Well,
That's an
yeah.
easy
You're
one.
showing all variations in the image. You should only show
Yes, correct,
one. Yeah.
correct. So once also, main image must be professional photographs of the actual product only. Props that might confuse the customer must not show. So that's an easy one. You want,
Right.
as a customer, I may be confused. Am I getting all those images, all those
Yeah.
shoes? I'm getting all those 10 packs of shoes
Yeah.
for
That's a
this
good point.
price. We gotta be very accurate in what we present to the customers.
Okay.
This
This.
one is a
Okay.
little more difficult, so I will show it out. I will
Maybe.
stay with this one, the
Oh,
left
okay.
side. Organic claims. When you are representing your product as organic, you gotta be certified by a regulator in the USA that's called USDA. Because when people buy organic products, they want to be sure that the products are actually organic. Otherwise, how can you know if someone's not making that up? We gotta have state approvals for what we say. We can't just write things down.
Right. And the strongest as well. Okay, here. Ooh, so mosquito is in the picture. It shouldn't be, right?
Correct. Correct.
And 320 hours. I don't know. That's maybe a claim that I shouldn't make. And then get massage, make them go indoors safely and effortlessly, defer mosquitoes with eye cookers, hands-on. Not so sure. Hand is also in the picture. It shouldn't be, right?
Correct. Nice. So those are the image is mostly the problem, and also you say that it is 12 pack, and
I'm showing only 6.
maybe I can be confused. Maybe I think it is only 6 products, and this is the demonstration.
All right.
So we can't. We need to make sure that customers cannot be confused, because in this image, I'm not sure if I'm getting 2 packs of those 6, or maybe those are different colors, or maybe the end is demonstration, or maybe it's twice the same. We gotta be very, very, very accurate.
Okay.
When Amazon suspends.
It says
So,
with no spray for men, but like all the searches that are Googling for spray for men, they will come here. It will not matter that it says no spray.
You can't write things down as all caps. We can't make it with all capital N and a capital O. This is very small, but that's an issue as well. You can't do it.
Okay.
Let's see the next one. Another one? Okay, that's an easy one. 3,000 reviews, that's an easy one.
Easy one, but wait a minute. Well, drill not included. Yeah, well, it should not be in the picture.
Exactly. If you are only saying the brush, then only show the brush, and the demonstration should be put secondary image.
But it's pretty challenging, you know, to do that. I guess that's why they are cheating.
Challenging, but you gotta follow the rules. If you will search for this product, I'm pretty sure that all the lower volume sellers are only showing the brush. And he, as a big seller, allows himself to do this and show.
It's a great product idea. But if you show it without the drill, I guess it's not going to be so convincing. Right. Yeah. That's a tough one for sellers.
Yep. But it's better than to be suspended.
Yeah,
that's
it's better. For sure.
How about this one?
I remember that one from the conference a bit. Something about waterproof, right?
Yes, nice, correct.
Yeah. What was it exactly?
So first, the image itself, as before, should have no infographics, should have no the splashing water, no text, nothing. It should be clear and only the product can put the package and the instructions, that's fine, but can't put all the rest. And for waterproof, that's an interesting one because it isn't been enforced yet, and hundreds of thousands of sellers are saying waterproof, that their products are waterproof. Waterproof for what? Can I use it while swimming? Maybe only water drops, maybe only sweat. There is the IP rating, International Protection Rating, IPX6, IPX7. Maybe if I will drown it for 5 minutes, will it still work? And this IP rating clearly specifies for what the waterproof is. And while I only say it's waterproof, the FTC will have a crackdown on this in the near future, and we will see thousands and hundreds of thousands of sellers getting warnings, and in the worst case, they will be even suspended.
So you're saying I should be careful. I should be careful in advance, prepare for that.
And those are things that we can know in advance. We can set up for anything. We know all the crackdowns that are soon to come, and we can prevent most of them.
Oh, that's great when you can prevent suspensions in advance, not to lose those sales. Right. So the knives can be attached to fridge, cannot be attached to fridge. What? I am confused. I'm confused what it's selling. But so I guess if it cannot be attached to fridge, then why is it? No, I'm confused. So what's the?
Okay, so that's a little bit more difficult situation because the parent variation was the version of the knives that cannot be attached to the fridge.
Like the old version.
He opened a new variation, an upgraded version, as you can see in the title, an upgraded version that can be attached to the fridge. But parent-child relationships have strict rules of what you can and what you cannot put as a new variation, what you should put as a new ASIN. And they are saying it, they are writing it down in the policy. It isn't up to debate. They are saying if you have an upgraded version of your product, for example here, the magnet option, the magnetic pull force, so that's a new version, that's an upgraded one, that must be a new version and a new ASIN, and not a variation. And in this case, I think the worst thing that will happen to him is that his listings, his variation will be separated. That's what will probably happen, but he will lose indexing. He will lose some of his reviews. And
that's right. They will split up the ASIN.
So this is a little bit more difficult one, but it's also something we can figure out, we can find out, and we can fix this in advance.
So basically, I should never say upgraded version, even if I upgrade it. And there should not be.
You can if it's a single ASIN. If it's actually a new ASIN of previous version installed, and that's fine. But customers doesn't really buy it. People already understand that upgraded version doesn't mean a lot.
Right. Okay.
Let's do our last one.
Last one. Unmatched USP approved. Probably that's it, right? You have to have some proof.
That he does have approval for it if you wrote it down. Otherwise, he will get a lawsuit.
Anatomically shaped for performance. Maybe it's also about that claim. What else could be? Neoprene. I don't know. Something with health regulations of some kind.
Okay.
Okay. What's the answer?
Yep, that will be it. This one, more specifically, promote muscle recovery and injury prevention. Right. Once again, injury prevention. Meaning, if I will wear down this product, this sleeve, I cannot be injured. It prevents injuries.
It's a claim you cannot make.
I am not. I mean it with everything. Amazon enforced, the FDA enforces on it. It's called the medical marketing claims. You cannot say things that you are not approved to say it. If you say that your product prevents injuries and someone buys your product and God forbid gets killed or gets a severe injury, he can sue you because he believed that your product prevents injuries.
Oh, that's very
That's
scary.
simple as that.
Yeah.
It's simple as that. You gotta stay behind what you say. You can't just write down random things that it prevents injuries because it doesn't. It doesn't
Okay.
prevent injuries. And this guy, this brand, can get a lawsuit. And Amazon won't stop them because the FDA are right and his product doesn't prevent injuries. And it's very simple. It's simple as that. It promotes muscle recovery? I guess not. Otherwise, it would be a medical product that needs licensing and is over the counter.
That's right.
So all those things and many, many more um, can be prevented. We can and we should be smart about them and be smart about what we write down in our listing.
All right. This is great. So this was the last one? The slide?
Yeah, that was the last one. Back to us.
It was fun. This was interesting. Well, so
you did a good job. You got an A.
got half of them. So basically, if I'll just keep you in mind, and if something happens, I will be contacting you with help. But like you said, you recommend that I would try to unsuspend my listing first myself, right?
It's okay. By the way, we can't see you now. I don't think we can see you. But we can hear you well, so we'll continue. Basically, I would suggest, here you go, and back out. I would suggest always contacting a professional before. We try to be as honest as possible. If it is an easy case, we would suggest you to try this alone. But there are some kind of suspensions that it will be a lot of damage if you will do it before and you try by yourself, because if you have you got suspended for those medical marketing claims, please don't try alone because it will only ruin the success rates in the future. It should be a very professional appeal with regulation proofs, and the policy issues can be managed and can try. I wouldn't suggest more than twice 2 appeals, and we are always here to consult with. And more importantly, what we just saw now, the preventions, we can also make it. We can review your detail page, review your listings, and tell you what phrases or terms you need to remove to prevent the next suspension.
Okay. So do you offer some kind of account review where you look at my listings and see if everything is okay? Do you offer something like that?
No, that's exactly this. This is exactly the service where we review your detail page. That will be your title, bullet points, description, images, and search terms, which people aren't aware of that it is a part of your detail page. All the others, search methods and everything else, is the backend. In the front end, the search terms are included, and this counts as your detail page. And we review everything, see for infringements of policy or regulation issues, and let you know what you need to fix.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much for meeting with me today and spending the time to explain and answer my questions.
Of course.
Do I just go to SellerAppeal.com and like submit a contact info?
We can either contact to our website or search out for me in Facebook and contact my personal Facebook. I am always there. Or Shamosh. You can find me out, and we will do our best to help.
Okay, sounds good. Well, thank you very much, and I'll see you soon.